wanted to just get your impressions on the game and the difference of the game plan from the first half to the second half.
Nico, thank you for stepping up and asking the first question. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. And it's a good one because first half, second half was night and day. I thought Portland, was better in the first half, and I thought we were better in the second half. I'll start with the first half, though. I mean, again, they're going to look at that goal and say it was a well-constructed goal, but I felt it was just too easy. I mean, we need to be better team defensively, losing the ball up here, our transition defending. That is what they do well. And we messaged that, we worked on it, and we still couldn't prevent that goal. So that obviously was distressing. I think what happens with our team is that when we go down a goal, sometimes they have so much anxiety to come back and try and score the goal right away that they lose a little bit of patience. And, that was, for us on the coaching staff, that was the biggest problem. I think guys were pushing, they were trying too hard, they were moving themselves out of position. Tactically, we weren't very good. And so at halftime, we just reset. We said, no, this is how we play. This is how we line up. This is where you guys need to be. And I think it worked. I mean, we scored the goal late, and I'm very, very, very pleased for Will Bruin. He deserved it because he's been working his butt off. But if you look at some of the other chances, I mean, we had Kelvin's header. Jordan had a breakaway where Nico chested the ball. Maybe he could have laid it back. I know a lot of people out there want Nuhu to score. I understand that. And, Nico does a good job, swings the ball in, comes back to him. He shoots. But Christian Roldan was there, top of the box. Shane's header on another delivery by Nico that was very good. Some transition moments where we just, we couldn't find Jordan, or we picked the wrong pass, or they intercepted the pass. So I thought the second half was, better for us. And, tough team to play against. And just happy that we were able to stay in first place.
Next, Tim Booth.
Hey, Brian. Considering everything that Will has gone through to get back to this point, and I think he said tonight was the first time he's played 90 since he came back. From your perspective, what does it mean for him to get a goal and to get a goal like this in a rivalry game?
It was good for Will. It was good for the team. The Seattle Sounders never give up. That's one of the trademarks that makes us a championship team. Will embodies all of those things. He doesn't give up. He trains hard. He works hard. And, for him to score, for the team to snatch a point at the end there, it's something you can actually build momentum on, both individually for Will and for the squad.
Maz?
Yeah, on that, Brian, Christian Roldan just talked about in the second half, the team was the selfless running, and which is all part of continuing to work and get in a position. Can you just talk about, did they change how the players were running, your players were running in the second half to open up space for others?
Well, look, we have struggled, Maz. That's another great question. Look, we have struggled against teams that have packed it in, and Portland does a good job. I mean, they've figured out that they can drop off and cede possession, cede territory, and catch us on the counter. So it's challenging for our team, more of a high motor team, for us to go, for us to have that little bit of patience, and, not just have patience where we pass the ball here and back and forth, but really patience to spread them out and then play balls inside into the pockets that we always talk about. And then that starts a chain reaction where their next player has to step forward, and then we find the next space in behind. So, some of that just came out of the resolve of the group. And some of it was, the tactics that we originally started for the beginning of the game, but we just didn't execute it.
Felipe?
So, Coach, what are your personal feelings about this game, and what was the reaction of the players in the locker room after the game?
Well, they were very happy. They were happy in the sense that Will scored. They were happy that they were able to snatch a point, but there was that little bit of fog because they obviously wanted to win. But sometimes, when you come back like that at the end of a game, you can still use that as motivation and as a good stepping stone for better performances.
Thank you.
Yeah, what can you say about that play that Shannon Hopio made there to win the corner to set up the equalizer?
Well, effort. I mean, his job was to come on and, spark the team, kind of give some youthful energy out there. And, he did that. I wanted him to stay a little wider. He needed to tactically understand that he needed to be wider on the right-hand side. I know I started him off on the left, but, any sub that comes on wants to make an impact in the game, Jeremiah, and he did that.
Mark Kastner.
Hey, Coach, I can't imagine you planned on having to make a sub 30 minutes into the match. I was just wondering, at that point in the game, what does that substitution make you change up in your tactics? And also, have you ever seen one of your own players get injured by running into the referee?
I've never seen one of our players get injured by running in the referee. It didn't change our tactics. We still were going to play the same way. I thought Alex came on, and again, the reason why I brought him on is because Alex crosses a very good ball, and we have Will Bruin in there that needs that type of service. So it was unfortunate that Jordy had to leave the game under those circumstances. I don't know if Chris Henderson, who is our sporting director, who writes in the referee report, I don't know if he'll dock him for that. That's a joke, by the way. But, Ishmael is a good ref. I'm sure he didn't want to do that. It's just bad luck for Jordy.
Any other questions for Coach Schmetzer? Hey, Maz?
Yeah, Brian, just going back to kind of the happiness. I know you guys got a point, but Will said that you actually had a discussion with him about that play. And, I mean, just what does that mean to you to have a player where you a teaching moment like that and then seeing it come to fruition?
Well, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. That particular play that we use on our set pieces actually came from Alan Hinton many years ago. We used to have a guy by the name of Peter Ward who used to play back in the 80s, a very good striker, but he was a small guy. And Alan would always move him to that back post area. So when the big guys would challenge, sometimes the ball drops there. And Alan always used to say, that there was 3 or 4 goals a year from that position. So what we try and do is make sure that we always get a player in that position. And tonight it was Jordan and Will kind of taking turns, and Will faded off, and, the big guys challenged, and he was in the right place and the right time, and he got the goal.
Mark?
Thanks, Coach.
Sorry, Maz.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to ask this in my first question. Is Jordy okay? Is he going? Have you heard from the medical staff about his condition?
I know he is not going to go into the concussion protocol. It was something to do with his neck, Mark. I don't know the exact answer there, but I know he's not going into concussion protocol. But he does have, a sore neck, and we'll evaluate that tomorrow.